The biggest damage to your relationship happens in moments you think don't matter. Right now, your child is pulling away. And it's not because of the big fights or the dramatic meltdowns, it's because of tiny signals you're sending 50 times a day. Signals that say you're not important enough or your feelings don't matter. These invisible mistakes are rewiring your child's brain, teaching them that connection isn't safe. After this video, you'll spot these signals instantly and know exactly how to fix them. Let's start with the mistake that happens every single day. Picture this. Your child used to run to you with every scraped knee, every exciting discovery, every worry. Now they're pulling back. Less eye contact, fewer stories. When you ask about their day, you get fine and nothing more. Here's what's really happening. According to Harvard's Center on the Developing Child, your child's brain is built through micro moments of connection. Every interaction is either building trust or breaking it down. Between ages 2 and 8, their neural pathways are forming based on whether they feel seen and heard. And here's the thing, you're not a bad parent, you're just overloaded. These disconnections happen when you're stressed, rushing, or trying to multitask your way through parenthood. But here's the good news. Every micro disconnection has a micro fix. Today, I'm sharing something I call the micro disconnection map. 10 specific mistakes with exact replacement phrases that can restore connection immediately. These aren't big changes. They're simple word swaps that work with your child's nervous system instead of against it. This is based on emotion coaching research and co-regulation principles. When you get these right, your child will start opening up again. Trust me on this one. Let's start with mistake number 1, the one that 90% of parents are doing right now. Mistake 1, phone face parenting. Mistake number 1 of 10, phone face parenting. This is when you're multitasking with your phone while your child is trying to connect with you. Quick glances instead of full attention. Here's why this pushes your child away. It breaks what scientists call the serve and return cycle. Your child makes a bid for connection, but when you're half listening, their brain learns that they're not important enough to capture your full attention. Picture this scene. Your 6-year-old runs up to you, excited about their Lego creation. You're scrolling through emails and you say, "That's nice, honey," without even looking up. Your child's excitement deflates. They learn that their joy doesn't matter enough to pull you away from your screen. Here's your before line. "That's nice, honey." Here's your after microfix line. "Wait, let me see this. Tell me about this part here." When you do this, your child will share more details. Their eyes will light up. They'll start bringing you more discoveries because they know you'll actually see them. When we do give attention, mistake number 2 often ruins it. Mistake 2, speed mode transitions. Mistake number 2 of 10, speed mode transitions. This is hurry culture in action. You're constantly rushing your child through activities with, "Come on, let's go," and "We're late, move faster." Here's why this pushes them away. It dysregulates their nervous system. Children need time to transition between activities. When you rush them, they can't co-regulate with you. Instead, they feel like a burden that's making you stressed. Picture your morning routine. Shoes, backpack, breakfast, car. Everything is go, go, go. Your child is still processing the transition from pajamas to school clothes, and you're already 3 steps ahead. Your stress becomes their stress. Here's your before line. "We're late. Move faster." Here's your after microfix line. "I see you need more time. Let's take 3 breaths together." When you do this, your child will actually cooperate instead of resisting. You'll have fewer morning battles because their nervous system stays regulated. But even when we slow down, mistake number 3 shuts them down. Mistake 3, emotion minimizing. Mistake number 3 of 10, emotion minimizing. This sounds like, "You're fine, don't cry," or "It's not that big a deal." You're trying to help them feel better, but you're actually dismissing their emotional experience. Here's why this pushes them away. When you minimize their emotions, you're teaching them that their feelings are wrong or bad. You're missing a crucial opportunity for what researchers call emotion coaching. Their brain learns to shut down emotional expression instead of learning how to process feelings. Picture this scene. Your 4-year-old's favorite toy breaks and they're crying. You want to stop the tears quickly, so you say, "You're fine. It's just a toy. We can get another one." But your child isn't crying about the toy. They're experiencing loss, disappointment, maybe even grief. Here's your before line. "You're fine. It's just a toy." Here's your after microfix line. "You're really upset that broke. That was special to you." When you validate first, the tears actually stop faster. Your child feels understood instead of dismissed. They learn that all emotions are acceptable, even the uncomfortable ones. Speaking of feelings, mistake number 4 skips the most important part. Mistake 4, fix it instead of feel it. Mistake number 4 of 10, fix it instead of feel it. You jump straight to solutions without validating emotions first. Your child comes to you with a problem, and you immediately start solving instead of listening. Here's why this pushes them away. You're skipping the co-regulation phase. Your child needs to borrow your calm nervous system before they can hear logical solutions. When you skip feeling and go straight to fixing, they don't learn how to process emotions. Picture this scene. Your 7-year-old comes home upset because their friend didn't invite them to a birthday party. You want to help, so you immediately jump to problem solving. Here's your before line. "Just make new friends then. There are lots of nice kids in your class." But your child doesn't need solutions yet. They need to feel heard first. Here's your after microfix line. "That must have hurt your feelings. Tell me more about that." When you feel with them first, they open up instead of shutting down. They learn to trust you with their emotional world. Even our compliments can disconnect us. Mistake number 5 is everywhere. Mistake 5, performance. Praise trap. Mistake number 5 of 10, the performance praise trap. This is when you praise identity traits instead of effort or process. "You're so smart." "You're such a good artist." "You're the best soccer player." Here's why this creates distance. Research shows that praising identity creates performance pressure. Your child starts to worry about maintaining that image. They develop a fear of failure because their worth feels tied to being smart or talented. It starts to feel like conditional love. Picture this scene. Your child finishes a puzzle quickly, and you're proud of them. Here's your before line. "You're so smart." Here's your after microfix line. "You kept trying different pieces until you found the right fit." When you praise process instead of identity, your child will take on harder challenges. They'll be less afraid of making mistakes because their worth isn't tied to being perfect. We're halfway through our map, and mistake number 6 might shock you because it feels loving. Mistake 6, invisible comparisons. Mistake number 6 of 10, invisible comparisons. This is when you make subtle comparisons with siblings or other kids, even positive ones. "Why can't you clean up like your sister?" "Look how nicely Emma is sitting." Your brother never has trouble with homework. Here's why this creates distance. Even positive comparisons create insecurity. Your child's brain hears that their worth is relative to someone else's performance. It builds resentment towards siblings and creates conditional self-worth. Picture this scene. Homework time is a struggle again. Your 8-year-old is frustrated with math problems while their younger sibling finished their work easily. You're tired and the comparison slips out. Here's your before line. "Your brother never has trouble with homework." Here's your after microfix line. "Homework feels hard for you right now. What part is tricky?" When you focus on your child's individual experience, you get less defensiveness and more cooperation. They stop competing with siblings and start focusing on their own growth. Mistake number 7 seems harmless, but it's actually the most damaging. Mistake 7, silent sarcasm and teasing. Mistake number 7 of 10, silent sarcasm and teasing. This is when you use gentle sarcasm or playful teasing to redirect behavior. Nice going, Butterfingers. Great job for getting your backpack again. Wow, what a mess. Here's why this is so damaging. Children between 2 and 8 cannot process sarcasm the way adults do. Their brains take your words literally. What feels like gentle humor to you feels like mockery and shame to them. It teaches them that making mistakes makes them a target for ridicule. Picture this scene. Your 5-year-old spills their juice for the 3rd time this week. You're frustrated but trying to keep it light. Here's your before line. Great job, Butterfingers. Your child's face falls. They hear criticism disguised as a joke, and they feel ashamed. Here's your after microfix line. Spills happen. Let's clean it up together. When you respond with understanding instead of sarcasm, your child feels safe to make mistakes. They're more willing to try new things because they know accidents won't be met with shame. Mistake number 8 confuses their nervous system daily. Mistake 8, boundary whiplash. Mistake number 8 of 10, boundary whiplash. This is when your rules change based on your mood or energy level. Sometimes iPad time after dinner is okay, sometimes it's not. Sometimes interrupting is fine, sometimes it gets them in trouble. There's no clear pattern they can rely on. Here's why this creates distance. Inconsistency creates anxious attachment. Your child never knows which version of you they're going to get. They start walking on eggshells, constantly trying to read your mood to predict what's acceptable. Picture this scene. It's after dinner, and your child asks for screen time. Yesterday you said yes because you were relaxed. Today you're overwhelmed and you snap. Here's your before line. Not tonight, with no explanation. Your child is confused because the situation looks exactly the same to them. Here's your after microfix line. Our rule is no screens after dinner. I know you're disappointed. When you acknowledge their feelings while holding consistent boundaries, you get less testing behavior and more security. They can relax because they know what to expect. Mistake number 9 might be the key to everything. This one determines whether trust grows or dies. Mistake 9, no repair after rupture. Mistake number 9 of 10, no repair after rupture. This is when you lose your temper, make a mistake, or have a disconnected moment, and then you just move on without acknowledging what happened. Here's why this is relationship poison. Every parent has moments when they're not their best self. That's normal. But when you don't repair those moments, trust erodes over time. Your child learns that when you hurt them, there's no acknowledgement, no apology, no reconnection. Picture this scene. You're stressed about work, and your child interrupts you one too many times. You snap at them harshly, then feel guilty. But instead of addressing it, you just try to move on and be nicer later. Here's your before line. Silence. Moving on as if nothing happened. Here's your after microfix line. I raised my voice and that felt scary. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. When you repair ruptures, trust actually grows stronger than before. Your child learns that relationships can handle imperfection. They see you modeling how to take responsibility and make things right. If you only choose 2 things to focus on from this entire list, make it mistake 1 and this one. Final mistake coming up, and this one steals their independence. Mistake 10, autonomy-pinch language. Mistake number 10 of 10, autonomy-pinch language. This is when you use controlling language disguised as helpful suggestions. Here, let me do it. You're taking too long. That's not how you do it. Watch me. You need to try harder. Here's why this pushes them away. you're undermining their natural drive for independence. Research on self-determination shows that autonomy is a basic human need. When you constantly step in or criticize their efforts, they develop learned helplessness. Picture this scene. Your 4-year-old is struggling with their zipper. You're running late, and watching them fumble is making you anxious. Here's your before line. Here, let me do it. You're taking too long. Here's your after microfix line. This zipper is tricky. Would you like me to help or keep trying? When you offer choices instead of taking over, you build their confidence and persistence. They learn that struggle is part of learning, not something to be rescued from. Now you have all 10 pieces of the map. Let me paint you a picture of what changes when you start using these microfixes. Picture your child 6 months from now. They make eye contact when they talk to you. They come running when something exciting happens at school. When they're upset, they seek you out instead of hiding in their room. They share their worries because they trust you to understand. This isn't wishful thinking. This is what happens when you consistently use micro-connection instead of micro-disconnection. Their brain starts wiring differently. The neural pathways that say, "My parent is safe" and "My emotions matter" become stronger every day. Your house becomes calmer. There are fewer battles because your child feels seen and heard. They cooperate more because they're not fighting for connection. You start enjoying each other again. And here's the beautiful part. These skills you're teaching them now become their relationship blueprint for life. They'll know how to connect, how to repair, how to handle emotions. You're not just fixing today's relationship. You're giving them the tools for every relationship they'll ever have. I know you're thinking this sounds too soft or permissive. And here's what I want to tell you. Connection isn't the same as permissiveness. You can be warm and still have boundaries. In fact, children follow boundaries better when they feel connected to you first. I know you're also thinking you don't have time for all this emotional stuff. But here's the truth. These micro moments take the same amount of time. You're just using different words. Instead of "stop crying," you say "you're really upset." Same time, different result. And I know you're worried about messing up again. Here's what I need you to understand. Repair is more powerful than perfection. Your child doesn't need a perfect parent. They need a parent who's willing to acknowledge mistakes and try again. Before you go, here's what I need you to do. Look at those 10 mistakes and pick one number. Just one. The mistake you want to focus on this week. Then I want you to try a 24-hour challenge. For one full day, just notice when that mistake happens. Don't try to fix it yet. Just catch yourself in the moment. Awareness comes before change. Drop your number in the comments. Tell me which mistake you're going to tackle first. And remember this, your relationship with your child is built one micro moment at a time. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present, willing to repair, and ready to try again. That's the kind of parent your child really needs.